The lawyer's office smelled like burnt coffee and expensive cologne, the kind that tries too hard. The air conditioner rattled like it was about to quit. My palms were wet on the leather chair, and across the table, Caleb sat back like he owned the place. He wore that smug little half-smile, the one that said I was being dramatic, that I'd cave like I always did. He kept tapping his ring finger on the table. Not a ring yet, just a promise he was already spending. And when my attorney slid the prenup forward, Caleb didn't even look at it. He looked at me. $2.8 million? He said, like the number was a joke, like it was a tip. You really think you need protection from me? And that smile got wider because he thought he had me trapped. I stared at the bold line on the first page. Total estate value, $2,800,000. My throat felt tight, like I'd swallowed sand. Because in exactly 10 minutes, Caleb's whole plan was going to fall apart, and he still didn't know I'd already pulled the pin. He leaned in, voice smooth. I'm not signing anything that says you don't trust me. His eyes flicked to my lawyer like he was trash. If she loves me, she won't make me sign. And I realized something in that moment. He wasn't refusing because he was offended. He was refusing because he was counting on half. He said, either we're a team or you can keep your money and die alone. And that was the second he thought he'd won. My lawyer cleared his throat. Caleb, this agreement is standard for estates of this size. It protects both parties. It's not personal. Caleb laughed under his breath. No, it's personal. Then he put his hand over the paper like he was about to shove it back. We get married in 3 weeks. She's not going to cancel a wedding over some paperwork. His eyes met mine again, warm and fake. Right, babe? I nodded slowly, like I was swallowing my pride. And then I slid a different folder onto the table. Caleb's smile didn't move yet, but his eyes did. 3 years earlier, he didn't look like a villain. He looked like safety. We met at a charity gala my mother forced me to attend. One of those rooms full of glittery dresses and loud laughter that never reaches the eyes. I remember the smell of champagne and roses, and how my heels pinched so bad I wanted to rip them off. Caleb appeared beside me like a rescuer. Tall, charming, perfect suit, perfect teeth. You look like you'd rather be anywhere else, he said. Is it that obvious? I asked. He smiled like he already knew me. Come on, I'll get you out of here for 5 minutes. He took me to the balcony where the city air was cold and clean. He told me he worked in finance, that he built himself from nothing. He said all the right words: independent, loyal, family, future. And when he held my hand, it felt steady. I ignored the first red flag because it came wrapped in sweetness. He asked about my dad within the first hour. Not how I was doing, not what I loved, but my father. The man who'd left me the estate when he died, the property, the investments, the lake house. Must be nice, Caleb said softly, having something solid. I told myself he was just making conversation. The second red flag came later, when I tried to add him on social media, and he laughed like it was cute. I don't do that, he said. Too much drama. Work policy. Then his phone buzzed, and he turned the screen away from me so fast, it felt like a reflex, like a habit, like practice. I told myself I was paranoid, because when Caleb was good, he was perfect. Breakfast in bed, random flowers, long kisses in the kitchen. He'd hold my face and say, I'm going to take care of you. No one's ever taken care of you the way I will. And it felt so good to believe it. Then the cracks started to show, small enough to ignore until they weren't. It started with a mistake on my credit card. I was at the grocery store, the cart squeaking, the fluorescent lights buzzing above me when my phone pinged with a fraud alert. A $4,200 charge at a jewelry store across town. My stomach dropped so hard, I almost dropped the eggs. I called Caleb right away. He answered too fast. Hey, babe, did you use my card? I asked. My voice sounded thin even to me. What? He laughed like I'd told a joke. No, why would I? I got an alert. 4,000, jewelry. Silence, just a breath. Then he sighed, like I was exhausting. Okay, yeah, I did. It was going to be a surprise. A surprise, I whispered. For you, he said quick. I didn't want you to see it. Why are you freaking out? Because you didn't ask. Because I wanted to do something nice, he snapped. But if you're gonna act like this, maybe I should return it. The words hit like a slap. I felt my cheeks burn, shame mixing with anger. I'm not acting like anything, I said. You just don't trust me, he cut in, voice soft again, weaponized. And that hurts. By the time I got home, I was the one apologizing. That became our pattern. He'd cross a line, I'd notice. He'd flip it. I'd doubt myself. Then came the late nights. At first it was work, always urgent. He'd come home with that expensive cologne clinging to him, but something else too. A sweeter perfume, floral, not mine. I'd catch it when he hugged me, and my stomach would twist. One night I said, "You smell different." He didn't even blink. "It's the office. You're imagining things." "I'm not." He leaned closer, eyes cold. "You're doing that thing again. The insecure thing. You need to stop." I remember standing in our bathroom after he went to bed, staring at my own reflection, trying to decide if I was crazy. And then the prenup came up. My mother insisted. My lawyer insisted. Everyone insisted. I brought it up carefully, like I was holding a live wire. "Caleb," I said one evening, sitting on the couch with the TV on mute. "It's just something we need to do. It protects both of us." He turned his head slowly, like I'd insulted him. "Prenup?" he said. "So you think I'm a thief?" "No, it's not." He stood up so fast the coffee table rattled. "I left my apartment. I moved in with you. I gave you everything. And you want me to sign something that says I get nothing?" "It doesn't say that," I said, heart pounding. "It says you don't trust me," he said, voice rising. "So tell me right now, do you trust me or not?" The room felt smaller, the air felt thick. I whispered, "Yes." "Then drop it," he said, and walked away like the conversation was over. But something inside me didn't go back to sleep after that. So I stopped asking, and I started digging. I hired a private investigator with a calm voice and tired eyes. I told him I felt insane even saying the words out loud. He didn't judge me. He just nodded and said, "If you're wrong, you'll pay for peace of mind. If you're right, you'll pay to save your life." The next week was torture. Every time Caleb kissed me, I tasted lies. Every time his phone buzzed, I watched his hand twitch to hide it. I installed a small camera in the living room, tucked behind a framed photo. My hands shook so bad I had to do it twice. When I heard his keys in the door that night, I nearly threw up. Then, the PI called me at noon on a Tuesday. "Are you alone?" he asked. "Yes," I whispered, already cold. "I have something," he said. "It's not good." He sent me photos first. Caleb, sitting in a coffee shop, with a woman in a red dress, her hand on his thigh. Caleb smiling the same smug smile he gave me. Then, a screenshot of texts, my name in them like a joke. "Caleb, she'll cave, she always does." "Woman, and the money?" "Caleb, half after the wedding. If she fights, I'll push for no prenup. Easy." My vision blurred, my ears rang like a siren. Then the PI sent the real bomb, a recorded conversation from inside Caleb's car. Caleb's voice, laughing. 2.8 million, man. I just need to get to the altar. After that, it's mine too. I sat on the kitchen floor with the phone pressed to my ear, listening to the man I loved talk about me like a safe he was cracking. And I didn't cry. Not yet. I got quiet. That's when I built the trap. I played sweet. I played soft. I acted like the prenup idea had scared me, and I didn't want to ruin us. I watched relief spread across his face like sunlight. He kissed my forehead. "That's my girl," he said. He didn't know I'd already met with my lawyer. He didn't know I'd moved key assets into protected trusts. He didn't know I'd changed the beneficiary on everything that could be changed. He didn't know the wedding vendors were on standby for a cancellation call. And he definitely didn't know I had a folder with his own words, printed and dated. The day we went to my lawyer's office, Caleb walked in like it was a victory lap. He wore his best suit. He even winked at the receptionist. When my lawyer placed the prenup on the table again, Caleb didn't even read it. He pushed it away with one finger. "I'm not signing," he said loud and proud. "If she wants to marry me, she marries me as I am." Then he turned to me and said it softly, like a threat, wrapped as love. Tell him you don't need this." That's when I slid the other folder forward. Caleb frowned. What's that? My voice came out steady, almost calm. Evidence. He gave a short laugh, like I was being cute. Evidence of what? My lawyer opened the folder, pulled out the printed texts, the photos, and finally, a transcript of the recording. He laid them out like cards on a table. The air changed. Caleb's smile froze. His skin went pale under the office lights. For the first time, his fingers stopped tapping. "What the hell is this?" he snapped, reaching for the papers. My lawyer put his hand down, firm. "You can look, but you can't take." Caleb's eyes flicked over the words. "She'll cave. She always does." His throat bobbed like he swallowed a rock. I leaned forward, close enough to smell that expensive cologne, and I whispered, "Say 2.8 million again, Caleb. Say it like I'm not a person." His mouth opened. Nothing came out. Then he tried to turn it around, because that's what men like him do. "You hired someone to spy on me?" he said, voice rising. "That's insane." "You're insane." I nodded slowly. "Maybe, but I'm not broke." He slammed his hand on the table. "Those texts are out of context." My lawyer clicked a button on his laptop, and the audio filled the room. Caleb's voice, clear as day. 2.8 million, man. I just need to get to the altar. After that, it's mine too. When it ended, the silence was so heavy, it felt like it pressed on my chest. Caleb's eyes darted to me, panic finally breaking through the arrogance. "Babe," he said, voice shaking now. "Listen, we can talk about this. I was joking. Guys talk." I stood up, my chair scraping the floor like a blade. "There is no wedding," I said. His face twisted. "You can't just—" "I can," I said, and my hands stopped shaking for the first time in months. "Because you didn't love me. You loved my father's money." He stood too, knocking his chair back. "You're making a huge mistake." I looked him dead in the eye. "The mistake was letting you in." He lunged for the folder again, like he could erase it by grabbing it, but my lawyer was already calling security. Footsteps pounded in the hallway. Caleb's breathing got loud, ragged. As the guard walked him out, Caleb turned his head one last time, eyes wild. "You'll regret this," he shouted. I didn't flinch, because the only thing I regretted was not listening to my gut sooner. The fallout was fast. The wedding got canceled that afternoon. The venue tried to charge me a fee, and I paid it with a smile, because it was cheaper than losing half my life. Caleb blew up my phone until I blocked him. Then he emailed. Then he showed up at the gate of my house until I had informally trespassed. The woman in the red dress posted vague quotes online about losing a good man too. A rich girl's paranoia. I sent her the audio clip and told her to enjoy her prize. Last I heard, Caleb had moved in with a friend and was trying to sue for promissory estoppel, claiming I owed him for the wedding he never got. My lawyer shut that down so hard it barely made a ripple. And me? I sleep through the night now. I walk through my house and it feels like mine again. Not a bank, not a target, not a trap. Sometimes I still hear his voice in that recording, saying the number like it was already in his pocket, 2.8 million. But now it sounds like a bullet I dodged. So here's my question for you. If your partner refused to sign a prenup, would you see it as love or as a warning sign? And if you enjoy seeing justice served and toxic people getting exposed, hit that like button and subscribe. I have a lot more stories to share.